Get my mic unmuted here. Looks like we're almost ready to go, guys. We're got everybody back into the draft screen, and we're gonna be kicking it off here for game number 2 here in just a second.
And I am excited for this game too. Hopefully, we have all the connection issues worked out. We have Houston on B side this time, UMKC on A side. I'm interested to see what's going to come out in these drafts. Houston had a very well crafted draft last time, as where UMKC's was a little kind of all over the place as far as what they were trying to accomplish with that comp. But we see the Grace and the Black Feather bands come out once again.
Yeah, that seems to be pretty standard. I feel like Catherine is a little one that slips through every now and then, which it did through, and it looks like UMKC does pick that up instantly.
Yeah, and Catherine getting a little bit of a nerf in this last patch. Her defense stats not getting quite as strong with each stack as they were before, so possibly could be seeing a shift in the captain meta. And other than the Arden, identical drafts so far.
Yeah, they feel like they won with that first draft, and they're like okay with it. Like, all right, cool, we'll just do it again. But it also looks like that Adam's probably pretty comfortable in that Gwen if he's picking it up again. Obviously, not countering the pedal this time, but Ozo is going to be the last pick instead of a Rhyme this time.
Ozo. So Ozo will be able to dive along with the Arden better than the Rhyme could. The only thing I'm worried about with this Ozo is the Merciless Pursuit on the Catherine on the other side. That stun can shut down everything that Ozo wants to do. So Adam's going to be playing on this Ozo. It looks like Hands on Fire will be on the Gwen.
Yeah, it looks like they're switching it up a little bit, and then Cake is going to be on the Arden. So, I mean, I like Arden will be help to protect the Ozo, and he gets a little bonus from the shielding, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, the Ozo could be very difficult for UMKC to deal with, especially if he times it right. What he's going to need to do is wait to see Krishna use the Merciless Pursuit on somebody or even on him, and then use his Acro Bounce to dive in.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You don't want to throw away using your Acro Bounce if you get stunned midair and it doesn't do any damage. It kind of can hurt really bad.
Yeah. So, and especially getting that second bounce off is really important because that gives you that speed boost if you can get to that second bounce.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to be able to get it off as best you can because it does do a lot of damage, and it also is a lot of utility for you to be able to get on top of people. And it looks like Houston doing the starting the double backs with both their carries, whereas UMKC looking to just clear fronts, and they're going to go for this Elder Treant, and they're going to get it uncontested, it looks like. Yep.
Yeah, they are. I thought Lord Cake would try and steal it away, but he did not start with his blood for blood, so he didn't have that ability up.
Yeah, and here comes the Acro Bounce in. He lands on all three of them. Oh man, Vox takes a huge amount of damage and is blown up instantly by the Gwen Ozo burst. They hit level 2 by taking those backs and doing the full clear with the double carries, which makes it really easy for them to fight here, whereas all members of UMKC are still only level 1.
Yeah, and Adam having level 2 on this Ozo is really the big deal because it gives him the bounce, and especially early game, that bounce is really what does all the damage.
Yeah, without the stun, like you said, for Merciless Pursuit, there's almost nothing that can stop it. And also note that Gwen actually put the second point into her buckshot too to make sure that they were going to do the bonus damage there. Sorry about that, that was my phone going off.
Yeah, and there's really not much other than the Merciless Pursuit coming out of UMKC that Hands on Fire needs his skedaddle for.
Krishna just walks into a bush, face checking, almost getting killed there too. But yeah.
Yeah, so I really agree with this putting the double into buckshot first because the skedaddle isn't really needed yet.
Yeah, especially with an early fight like that, you just want to do as much damage as possible, get the kills, and move on, and that's exactly what they're doing. They end up taking the second Elder Treant and clean 3-0 score with the first time Hands of Fire finally going the lane, and no turret damage done either. So they got to be pretty confident now without having any DCs so far. Knock on wood.
Yeah, and Dark Knight really struggling to get those last hits despite having like a 2-wave push that he was able to clear out uncontested, still behind in farm from Hands on Fire.
Yeah, that might become a big problem for them later because they are already behind quite a significant amount of gold for being 3 minutes in. and he's going to be even further behind if he keeps missing those last hits. Whereas Hands on Fire is almost double his is already double his CS.
Yeah, and 3 minutes in, already a 2.5K gold lead.
Yeah, and Ozo almost he only needs the last recipe to finish his Aftershock, and he'll be ready to go. And looking at this Gwen, I don't know how much gold she has on her right now, but I'm sure she'll have enough gold to get a Taishin bow relatively quickly here when she goes back to buy.
Yeah, a little mistake there from Adam playing a little too up in the bush. So the Resonance bounce giving his position away is where if he had played back in the bush a little bit, he wouldn't have been catching those bounces.
Yeah, it looks like he might be. He's not caught out. It looks like they just want to stun him and take his Treant, but I feel like he might want to contest this. And Echo Bounce not working there. He's a little too far away to bounce onto him. He's gonna need some help though to defend his back. So here it goes. They open up onto Petal. Petal leaps away. Stun goes on the Gwen. And here comes the Aqua Bounce in as soon as Arden shows up, and he takes the third bounce to go to Catherine, which seems a little odd. So Petal is still... No, she might actually get away here. There is no fountain yet for either side, so it looks like both teams are going to try and disengage, but Ozo really wants that kill. If he can get another Aqua Bounce off, he might be able to kill Petal.
Yeah, and his Aqua Bounce just came back up, and there it goes.
And he does get it, bouncing onto the minion. The last bounce actually kills Petal, and now Vox is in a whole lot of trouble as well. The Crystal Miners actually added one on Gwen, though, and Gwen needs to get out before she dies. Does make it out. So.
Really tough to fight around the Crystal Sentry this early in the game, despite the level and the gold advantage that Houston has right now. We saw Hands on Fire just had to completely retreat from that.
Yeah, well, he hasn't even gone back to buy yet. If you look at his items in his inventory, he still has his starter items, but he's 2-0-2 with 30 CS, so you got to expect him to go back and buy here soon, because we're already almost at 5 minutes into this game. The jungle shop is up. It's not that long of a trip, and there he goes finally to buy. Actually, looking at it too, Petal hasn't bought yet either, and she's died twice.
Yeah, Adam has completed the Aftershock. Dark Knight has picked up a Poison Shiv, which generally you keep for comps with a healer, but Ozo's 3-ring Circus does give him that health regeneration. So the Poison Shiv will be able to do some work in maintaining this Ozo's sustainability.
It's going to make him really weak in this lane matchup, though, because Gwen should be able to burst him out really easily, and we're about to find out if he wants to poke his head out. He might be in some trouble, because here it comes right now. 3-ring Circus comes out, bounces all the way back to the Catherine again, does no damage because of the Stormguard being up, but here comes the ulti, hits Petal. Gwen goes down in the middle of the fight, though, and it looks like Houston bit off a little bit more they can chew, and they're actually going to lose maybe 2 here. Should be 2 because they're going to be able to have the speed boost follow-ups with the dashes and leaps and merciless pursuits, and they do get the 2 kills. I think it was a little bit overzealous by Houston there.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, UMKC did a great job of turning around a situation that looked like Houston had the advantage on. Questioning a little bit Adam's decisions on his acro bounces. That's the second time we've seen him finish his 3rd bounce on the Catherine, who was
here comes
not
again
his
with the
primary
acro
target.
Yeah, and it looks like Houston's going to catch out UMKC for staying a little over long. They did take out the Crystal Sentry, but they're going to lose Catherine and Petal for it. While Vox is trying to push the turret, it's going to get a little bit of damage, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, then this is what we saw them do in the last game, where he just pushed the wave into the turret, but didn't really put any damage of his own onto it. So Houston doing a good job of handling the overstay by UMKC, trying to take out that Crystal Sentry. They did manage to get it, but they were low on health when they started that fight, and that might have been a little too greedy on their part, but it is an objective going in their favor.
That is true. It does give it one less life. All Crystal Sentries in Vainglory are there to help you kind of defend your own jungle so you don't get invaded on as much, but they only have 3 lives for those of you that don't know, so if it dies 3 times, it's gone forever. So, and it does give you quite a bit of bonus gold as well, so it's not the most game-changing objective, but it is nice to have moving on into the mid and late game.
Yeah, it definitely can be a game-changing objective if, you know, depending on the comps. But right here, I don't know that they necessarily want to take fights in that area of Houston's in the first place, so I don't know that it's as big of an objective as it might have been in the last match where
They could have strangled him out, yeah. With if they had the more idea of it normally is to kill it so it's not there, so you can invade and set up things in the enemy jungle. So it's like you did make a good point. It much more valuable last game it seems so far, and we'll want to see it though. If this game goes long again, it could be a very valuable thing to have dead and make it easier. But now here comes the Bangarang onto Petal. She does block it, and it doesn't look like... Are they going to keep going for this? They're going to try. Stun comes out, but Houston backing off. That was a really far away attempt at the Bangarang from Ozo, but Petal with the reflex block stops it off right away, and they disengage quite easily.
Yeah, and I think since we were just talking about it, we did see a case there of the Crystal Sentry being kind of that barrier where Houston didn't want to continue that chase because the Crystal Sentry is there and will do an immense amount of damage, and also applies a slow for those people who don't know.
We saw that earlier with that Gwen. She took aggro from it earlier when they invaded, and she almost died because of it. Hands on Fire had to run for his life there. But it looks like we kind of stalled out people farming. Breaking Point coming out second for the Vox is kind of an odd build because if the fights go long, you're going to have a lot of stacks, but he doesn't have a lot of damage right now, and he also doesn't have boots, so he's not the most mobile. I feel like this could be risky for him.
Yeah, definitely. I would have liked to see some damage come out of the Vox before the Breaking Point, because Breaking Point stacks based on the amount of damage that you do, and you're not doing any damage with just Breaking Point.
Oh, here comes again the Bangarang followed by the Gauntlet. Fountain comes out for Houston, and it looks like the Fountain also came out for UMKC, but it's not going to be enough. Vox unable to survive. I feel like no defense and no boots kind of hurt him there. He almost made it out as they were diving him under his turret, but he was unable to get out of both the Bangarang and the Gauntlet provided by Houston.
Yeah, and I think that we're seeing Krishna be a little over aggressive with her Merciless Pursuit. She really needs to be hanging on to it until the Ozo decides to dive in, but we've seen time and time again where just as soon as it's up, it's trying to build the stacks. I understand what Krishna is trying to do behind constantly getting the stuns onto targets, but in this scenario, the only peel that this team has to slow down this Ozo is that stun. And I think when you're in a situation where a team fight may possibly break out, you really just have to show the restraint and hold on to that stun.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's a really hard decision sometimes as a Catherine where you're like, okay, what do I do? Do I use my stun to get stacked so I'm better later? Or, in this case, you really do have to hold on to it to try and deter the Ozo from diving onto your backline. Also, we missed it there a little bit, but Ozo was taking the mid Treant, and Petal jumped in on it, and he was able to clean up the kill on Nike, and Adam just free 1v1 kill and got the Treant as well. So even more of an advantage for Houston as they move on forward into this game. There is still no tower down, so we're unable to they're unable to like really secure an objective. But here comes a Gauntlet onto the tower with the Bangarang coming in. Bangarang does get blocked, but Merciless Pursuit comes out, and Catherine kills Gwen in the background. That over-aggression actually turning out in their favor this time, it seems like. And he kills the carry while both Vox and Petal are relatively safe.
Yeah, and manages to turn around kind of a poorly played situation there. Once again, we saw the Merciless Pursuit used on that Gwen. Adam was able to just get onto the background, but because Nike and Dark Knight were standing under their turret, he couldn't stay there very long, so he wasn't really able to accomplish anything. So UMKC just avoiding the disaster of that misused Merciless Pursuit again.
Yeah, it seemed like it was really awkward, but also Adam did make the conscious decision to use his Bangarang onto the Petal, who had not used her reflex block yet, so she was able to block that out and kind of left Ozo wanting to try and acro bounce into people instead of having the Bangarang to get right on top of someone instantly.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know that even if he Bangarang, that he would have been able to accomplish much, because you had the Vox there and you had the turret aggro there. So
yeah, once he got behind that turret, it was a little risky. But and the side of UMKC did end up getting the first turret down, which is good for them. But they did lose their Vox in the process and a little bit of pushing power because he got hit by the acro bounces, which are doing a tremendous amount of damage now on this Ozo. He does have a Dragon's Eye completed now to go with that Aftershock, so he will be building more and more CP as the fights go on. It looks like here comes a fight right now as the acro bounces in onto the backline, does a lot of damage. When he's under turret, loses half of his health instantly. Petal looking to close out the kill here. Fountain comes out to keep Ozo alive. Acro bounce comes out again. Oh, both Ozo hit both Vox and Petal with that last acro bounce, giving them a ton of damage for that last kill. Ozo gonna get killed by the turret eventually though, unfortunately, but does end up getting 2 kills. That was a really nice acro bounce. That last acro bounce hit both Vox and Petal and just did a ton of damage that secured that fight for them, even though they were under the turret and Ozo was taking almost 1,000 damage a shot there from the turret at the end.
Yeah, and we just see a lot of almost chaotic team fighting. I feel like UMKC is going in 3 different directions every time the team fight comes out. The Krishna is diving the Gwen, however the Petal is going after the Ozo, and the Vox is kind of stuck in between, not knowing exactly which direction to go. Ends up resulting in the 2 kills. They do get the Ozo because, again, Houston has been playing really aggressive here underneath this turret and just taking some damage and some turret aggro for their troubles.
Yeah, and it seemed like it worked out pretty well. I mean, he did land the acro bounces and stuff like that. I mean, it might have been able to be a little bit cleaner because he tanked that turret for like 4 or 5 shots, it felt like. And I mean, even with Ozo sustain, like the turrets do progressively increasing damage to their targets. So he kind of just set himself up for failure almost. But it did work out. I mean, 2 for 1 isn't bad. But again, that turret still stands. So objective play, maybe not on their mind. Maybe they're still trying to force fights and get kills here, and it looks like they might do the same thing again with the Gauntlet being up on Arden and the Bangarang being up on Ozo. That seems to be their go-to when fights start. Kind of passive though. It doesn't seem like they want to engage right away because SMKC did see them with a flare, so both sides kind of just dancing back and forth, which is kind of odd. This is the first time we haven't seen Houston really press a fight.
Yeah, just kind of feeling each other out. Krishna seems to keep wanting to try to get to that Gwen, but has done a really good job, maybe not intentionally, of holding on to this merciless pursuit. And so the Ozo has really been held at bay as far as jumping in. There goes the merciless pursuit and the acro bounce.
And the Gauntlet, acro bounces in. They use their reflex blocks to get out, but Ace's High lands on that Petal. It does get blocked out, but it doesn't block all the damage, so it does a ton there. Ozo cleaning up Vox in the backline. Arden with the tower aggro that time. Much better job, I feel like, by Houston. Like, Arden can take the hits a lot more and can get out a lot easier. Even lets Ozo free reign and get that turret. So that was a lot cleaner from Houston than their last fights, and they were just more patient, it felt like, and they just waited for, I mean, UMKC kind of started that fight with the stun again, like they have been, and they're just like, okay, cool, you wasted your merciless pursuit, it's go time.
Yeah, it was almost like exact in the time that it happened. As soon as the merciless pursuit came out, the acro bounce comes out, and Lord Cake there really saving the life of Hands on Fire. Holding that turret aggro so that the Gwen could escape, because if he steps outside of that turret range, it's going to switch to Hands on Fire, and it was really 1 turret shot away from death. So saved Hands on Fire by the smart play there from coming out of Lord Cake.
Yeah, just tanking that turret. I mean, you almost always want to have your captain player take aggro from turrets so that they can tank them for you, especially in a situation where you have squishy person like Gwen, but also a person like Ozo who's going to want to be free and hitting people as much as possible. And without him getting shot by that turret, he normally can sustain himself. And all he really needs is the fountain to follow it up. So it turned out really well for them. And if they can do that again, like 1 or 2 more times, this game could be pretty firmly in their grasp. But it looks like, oh, Petal jumps over the wall into the middle of the team. Bangarang comes out, no reflex block for it, and that was a huge mistake right there. Is he going to live? Oh my goodness. Oh, no, Gauntlet comes out. He does die to the Ozo before the Gauntlet hits, and Vox is running for his life. That was a really odd play for Nike to jump over the wall there with no vision, and gives over a free kill. It shows that Houston being proactive.
Did give over a free kill, and that was a beautiful Gauntlet that came out of Lord Cake. Helping to secure the kill on Nike, but what it also did is it trapped Dark Knight in, and it trapped Krishna out, and so just really separated the team in almost 3 different directions in the.
And here comes another Bangarang as they're trying to force this. It looks like Vox is going to go down too. They were ready for that one to try and stop the kill on Kraken, and they secure the kill on Kraken. No steal coming out. Vox dies, and then there's almost no way she gets out, right? Oh, Ace's High barely misses, and she's got almost no health. Petal's going to try and come in and save, but Acro Bounce comes in. Kill comes out for Arden. Acro Bounce bounce over to the Catherine again, unfortunately. He could have stayed on top of Petal. But here comes the Kraken push from Houston. They're sitting pretty happy right now. They take out the sentry, and Ozo almost diving into the turret again. He still has aggro on it. There comes the Bangarang again, and they're just going all in. Reflex block was down for Petal, so she had no chance there.
Yeah, and we're seeing this match, the same thing we saw last match out of UMKC. They got away with it last match just because of so many disconnects. But there is absolutely no shield on their side as far as defense is concerned. And we have a 3-item Ozo that's just wreaking havoc on them.
Yeah, the Ozo, he's just sitting pretty here, being pretty happy with everything that he has. He built that Evil Harvest as well to keep him tanking pretty well. But it looks like he took tower aggro there, so he dies in that process. And now it looks like Houston's going to have to turn and run, as they do end up getting most of the turrets, and this last turret may or may not go down. It'll be pretty close, but that was a pretty successful push. Adam probably getting maybe a little overzealous there to take some aggro and die, but I don't think they have too much to worry about. They do end up getting the last turret based on Kraken, so they have a free Vein Crystal to go after now.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen that on this be uber aggressive, and so that's not surprising that it happens there. But Houston does end up taking down all of UMKC's turrets. So trading 1 kill for that is not all that bad. They didn't give up an ace like we see many teams do during a Kraken push. So giving up 1 kill and ending up cleaning out all of the turrets is a fair trade in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree full-heartedly. I mean, if you give up the ace and then the counter push and stuff like that, it gets a little hairy. But 1 kill back out and make sure you got all the turrets. I'm pretty sure Ozo can live with his death for 4 turrets.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going more aggressive, just going into the jungle. I think that only has 1 life left on that sentry. They could go in there and kill it, but they don't have too much vision, so it looks like they're going to respect UMKC here a little bit. They might go in for it, but UMKC is doing exactly what they're trying to do, or what they want to do, which is try and find a pick here. And if they could catch it by the Crystal Sentry, that would probably be the most ideal situation for them.
Yeah, for sure. I think they probably could have engaged on that Crystal Sentry there.
Yeah.
Oh, fight's breaking out.
Yeah, Silence gets blocked out by the Ozo, and Vox gets hit with the Bangarang, and then the separating gauntlet there to kind of force everybody away is the death wish of Vox, unfortunately. And it looks like they're just going to go close the game out, and it's nice to see that they were able to keep their composure here and come back after having that unlucky game 1 with so many DCs and stuff like that. But there you go, guys. Houston tying up the series 1-1.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw a completely different game this match. And I think a result of it was UMKC picking just the same comp, but more than that, picking the Petal into nothing. The first match, they picked the Petal into the Rhyme, so you knew that you had a counter. But by picking the Petal so early, or just picking it at all, they were able to counter it with Ozo, which just wreaked havoc with no peel from that Catherine able to be applied. So great. And now we get to go to a game 3 and see if these teams can clean up their mistakes from the first 2 games and who's going to be able to pull out in the end.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see. And it's also, as we were talking about earlier, just a side note before we head out of this, is Vox also didn't actually finish at tier 3 damage, his last tier 3 damage item. He went straight into an Aegis and a Metal Jacket with only the Poison Shiv and the Breaking Point, and eventually getting a Lucky Strike there for some crit. But he was very low on damage. I feel like that might have been really detrimental to their hopes in that game, because they just did not have the damage. I mean, they didn't have the peel to stay alive either, but there wasn't a whole lot of damage to go out to actually secure people and give them a chance.
Yeah, certainly, and that Ozo was a great pick into that comp, I thought. Catherine just offers such little peel we see a lot. Like if you watch the VG8 matches, you will see certain teams that when a Catherine is picked, they just switch to an all-out dive comp because she really can't stop any type of dive. And we saw Krishna just make the mistake time and time again of stunning, letting the Merciless Pursuit come out before the Ozo had engaged, and that was just giving Ozo kind of free reign to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to see that, but yeah, maybe a little bit smarter than their drafting here. We'll see how that's gonna change out. So we'll see. I mean, it's gonna be very.
Yeah, I definitely think we need to see a different draft come out of UMKC because it's not gonna work time and time again.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like they're gonna take a second to people are gonna reset and stuff like that. So I'm gonna throw us over to the schedule again, so you guys can keep caught up on that. But we are 1-1 in the matchup between UMKC and Houston, and Game 3 will be coming up next, guys.